The Batman Arkham trilogy is without a doubt the definitive Batman experience. Before the release of the Arkham trilogy, there were some pretty good games like the Batman Begins game, and on the flip side there were some games like Batman Dark Tomorrow.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
After decades of Batman-related turmoil, on August 25th, 2009, God himself smiled down from heaven and blessed us with Batman Arkham Asylum. And how could you not feel blessed when breaking the faces of Joe Rogan-looking goons, stealthily taking down Joe Rogan-looking goons, throwing batarangs at the nuts of Joe Rogan-looking goons? Oh, and the story is super good too. And Poison Ivy exists. Okay, there's a lot in this game to talk about, but to keep me from rambling, we're going to focus on three main categories here: the story, the combat, and the stealth. The story of this game can be summed up by the Joker being an insane crackhead like always. After arresting and attempting to make sure the Joker gets locked up, Batman quickly finds out that the Joker let himself get caught on purpose, as he takes control of the asylum with the help of Harley Quinn. And to make things even worse, the Joker releases Gotham's worst criminals from their cells to wreak havoc on Arkham Asylum and on Batman. Bane, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and Killer Croc all have a bone to pick with Batman. And to make things worse, Joker has discovered a chemical known as Titan, which can transform a regular man into a hulking, mindless beast. Arkham has been turned into a chaotic battleground. The villains are running amok, and the world may very well be in danger. And to combat this, Batman slowly and methodically must use all of his wits, stealth, and fighting ability to take down all of these criminals one by one to regain control of the asylum before the Joker and the Titan Serum can threaten the world. This story was peak Batman. Even more peak was how the story was used to set up the atmosphere of the asylum. The atmosphere of the entire asylum was beautifully set to be, quite frankly, disturbing. Just walking down those linear corridors and hearing that creepy-ass music along with the screams of the inmates gives some horror games a legitimate run for their money. This feeling gets ramped up even more once the Joker releases the lunatics from their cells and they end up popping out from anywhere to attack you. The Scarecrow section where you see Bruce's dead parents and being hunted down by Killer Croc like an animal genuinely freaked me out the first time I played through them. A story and atmosphere like this needs to go hand in hand with amazing combat, and oh boy did this game deliver. Arkham Asylum's free-flow combat was revolutionary. Us gamers had never quite seen anything like this up until this point, and it was amazing. Batman was able to strike, counter, and dodge enemy attacks while being surrounded by waves of enemies with picture-perfect smooth animations. Just pressing one button for basic combat instead of where other games would have something like special combos with a combination of buttons, it actually worked out really great when combining it with counters, dodges, cape stuns, special takedowns, and gadgets, for example, like the Batarang. In my opinion, this combat style really nailed the feel of a superhero with how it could take down waves of enemies with relative ease. But somehow, at the same time, the timing for reversals, getting chains going, and takedowns took some time to get good at, and I'm definitely far from a master. I can't quite put the words to it, but the seamlessness and fluidity of the combat combined with the depth you can take it to makes it amazing and simple at the same time. I don't know how they managed to do that. You can really see how newer games like Insomniac's Spider-Man are inspired by the combat of this game. I've heard people criticizing this game for not having too many different enemy types, and well, I think we could definitely have more. I don't think that it's bare-boned at all. Some enemy types will include basic thugs, which can be taken down with standard combat, armed thugs, which can also be taken down with basic combat, but they can't shoot at you from a distance and will kill you very quickly if you don't pay them special attention. Then we have the stun baton thugs, who can be beat up from the front, and you have to hit them from the back. There's knife thugs, who require you to use the cape stun in order to take them down. And then there's Titan-infused henchmen who are gigantic and will charge at you until you stun them with a Batarang. There are also some others like the Lunatics, Poison Ivy's plants, the Shock Collar henchmen. Other than that, we have boss fights. I'll try not to spoil them too much in case you haven't played this game yet, but come on. It's a review. You're going to get some spoilers. You know damn well what you clicked on. This game has 5 fights that I would consider boss fights. We have the Bane fight, the Scarecrow boss fights, the Poison Ivy fight, the Killer Croc, and the Joker fight. And all of these fights are completely different from each other and nothing at all feels repetitive. The Bane fight was a little bit disappointing though, since it felt very similar to the fight where you get introduced to the Titan-infused henchmen, and you do run into Titan henchmen pretty much throughout the game, so that does get kind of repetitive. But even then, they were all unique from each other, and I felt like each boss fight tested a different combination of skills that we learned, not to mention the atmosphere of each boss fight was radically different. For example, the feeling of being hunted by Croc felt completely different from dodging Ivy's vines and fighting her mind-controlled thugs, and then the combat with the Joker boss fight felt completely different from the stealth that we had to do in the Scarecrow boss fights. And speaking of stealth, in this game, it was really, really good. And okay, I'm just gonna let you guys know now, I freaking suck at stealth, but just because I suck doesn't mean I can't enjoy it. I feel like the Predator stealth was definitely a different take on stealth than most stealth games that I play, and obviously this was a perfect fit for Batman. In a lot of games, you can use stealth to sneak and avoid as a defensive tactic, but Batman in this game uses stealth in order to weaponize fear against bad guys and go more on the offensive. And speaking of weapons, we can use a variety of gadgets in order to creatively tackle stealth. Batarangs can knock enemies out, the Bat Claw can be used to access grates, explosive gel can blow up walls, the cryptographic sequencer can disable turrets, etc, etc. Predator stealth encounters usually take place in large multi-level rooms with gargoyles to perch on, vents to crawl through, and walls to blow up. And what's really cool about that is when Batman starts to take down goons one by one, the goons get more and more panicked. And as a result of this, they will start shooting at random things they see. And some will even start working together in pairs or groups, whereas before they would have been walking around alone. All of these combined options and reactions of the AI make the game entertaining. But even with all of this possible variety, I often just found myself perching up on gargoyles and spamming gargoyle takedowns. The game does eventually address this by having the goons just rig the gargoyles with explosives, but I feel like it's decently late into the game, so it's not as meaningful as if they introduced it earlier on, and that way we could have been forced to, I guess, diversify our stealth in a way. Additionally, I don't mind it myself, but I've seen a lot of people say that the detective mode can also be overused in these parts. So maybe a meter or something for the detective mode could be introduced to make those parts, a little bit more challenging for people that have that problem. But like I said, personally, I didn't mind that. Batman Arkham Asylum left a lasting impact with its amazing story, innovating combat, and intriguing stealth. Honestly, this game is just plain old fun as hell, and it's a great start to the Arkham franchise, which expands and improves on a lot of what we discussed in future entries. But don't let that fool you. This game is excellent all on its own, and I enjoyed almost every second of it. So, how do you feel about Batman Arkham Asylum? What's your fondest or worst memory of it? Let me know in the comments below, and check out my playthroughs of Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins with Arkham Knight soon to come. Also, stay tuned for an Arkham City review and reviews on more games that we've played in the past and will continue to play in the future. This is Plot Armor Games signing out, and we'll see you guys in the next video.